Yeah. Man, I didn't realize the power of OpenSCAP was that high.
Probably not.
When they started leaving halfway through, so that's when the talk's going back. I've been there last month.
Well, I will tell you that right now, I didn't solve the problem that I was working with yesterday.
Really?
So we'll discuss where I may have gone.
I was thinking about doing a VM because what the guy did for the PCI version proves what I did for mine when I was playing with it. The problem was I was playing with the VM, it turned the remediation on, I had to fix everything. System wouldn't boot after that. Because I had it set up with Verizon at the time, that long ago.
That's a iPhone cable.
Too soon? No.
Hey, you probably come see it.
It's away.
Yeah, man. I seem to have a huge surplus. Anybody want iPhone cable?
Oh, sorry.
These are high quality.
I'm on the other side now.
This isn't like opening your phone and saying you want to buy a watch.
I don't think I might be. It might have the
No, it's going to turn out they're the Chinese ones that has the malware on. Regular rice in there.
Yeah.
So Hacker Day had an article. They took two PCB boards. They just put them back together. And they put a piece of like a really small chip in between the boards. You couldn't even really tell. It was really well done.
So
I've not heard of
that.
I read this story today
It was just
that somebody has encoded a malicious software program into a strand of DNA.
Oh, I read about that.
And they can then go in through the genome sequencing computer and get like all of 23andMe.
Well,
now, I'm not saying that it's happened,
already.
but it's already a proof of concept. That they're sticking using DNA.
That's gonna be great when somebody patents your DNA and so you don't own it anymore.
Well, that's why you shouldn't be using 23andMe.
No, any of those. I mean, I like the one that said, we respect privacy. We make the FBI buy the same thing, then we give them all the information. Or if you didn't get a kickback. No, I just hope none of my family's got it.
Are we up and live?
Yeah, you better.
We are live, sir.
All right.
Never convicted.
What about the whole thing of?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ladies and gentlemen.
Dave Thacker.
Hi. So,
Hey, Dave!
so it's Tuesday, February 5th, 2019, and I am the new,
John.
What is your title, John? What was your title?
It was like Vice President of Community Development.
Okay, so I'm the Vice President of Community Development for the Omaha Linux Users Group.
That's awesome, dude.
Which means I do a little mail list and a little website and a little, every now and then a presentation.
And helping organize all the speakers.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Speaking of speakers, let's start with that. We need speakers.
I like to talk. What do people want to hear about?
I would float some ideas out on the list and see what people say.
All right.
Right now, I have slotted 3 for this year. I'm hoping that I can twist Aaron for his 20 for 20 at some point.
I got a potpourri of Linux stuff, but I can't do it in March. I can do it in April.
Okay.
Ooh, April 5th.
I will be here most of the time for the meetings, but some of the times I will not be here. I've got some other things that I can't.
Commitments.
Yeah, commitments. Anyway, so besides the other news we were discussing about 23andMe, any other news that anybody caught up or caught their eye?
Linux 5.0.
Linux 5.0, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes. If I had to make the brain 20.
On today, we still haven't deployed IPv6. Here's another 10 years.
Yay!
Well, I can top that. The GNU Hurt now so they can compile 75% of the Debian packages. They still don't run on x86-64 for 32-bit mode.
And I think I would call the put that into the hold on to the dream department.
They're killing my titanium next year. So
All right. Okay, well, tonight, like any good presentation, this one is almost going to work. But we're going to talk about STIG and OpenSCAP. And who am I? I'm Dave Thacker. I'm a long-time OLUG member. I remember when we used to do Install Fest.
Yeah.
That's how long.
There you go.
I'm a Linux system administrator with Northrop Grumman, and I'm supporting the 557th Weather Wing out at Offutt. And I need to tell you, according to my handlers, please note, I don't speak for Northrop Grumman, the Department of Defense, or the 557th Weather Wing. I'm just a normal guy.
Do they still have a credit?
They do. It's in the
Nice.
front lobby. It's in the front lobby of Building 185.
Cool.
It's got a nice little bench around it. I sometimes sit there and do a little telephone conversations. Yep.
The grade 1,
Yeah.
and it's not powered up.
No, it's not powered. It's more a decorative item.
Decoupage.
I think it's not as powerful as this.
All right. So the reason that I started with STIG and OpenSCAP for this presentation is because I've been in the DoD world for about a year. It's a lot different than my previous gigs, which were retail and hospitality. It's much more buttoned down, of course, should be. And they do a lot of things that they've done these things for a long time that they're just coming around to, I think, for some of the other enterprises in other areas. And OpenSCAP and STIGs are things that I deal with on a daily basis, and I'm just learning my way through this thing. So first tonight, we're going to talk about a little history of how we got to STIGs and SCAP and OpenSCAP, along with a couple of detours. Huh?
Can you first explain what they are?
Oh, I will when we go through there. Okay. All right. So once upon a time in a data center far, far away. Yeah, I mixed that. So configuration management standards appeared. This happened really early in World War II. You know, they had some really big, ugly machines, and they had to formalize the best way to use it. So by the end of the Cold War, or not the end of the Cold War, the end of World War II, they'd found out that they had a lot of different standards and practices, and they put them all, they started working on the never-ending quest for standardization. And that was the first thing that, the first shot in that was 1947 for the National Security Act. And then in 1957, President Eisenhower sicked a commission on them and said, you shall eliminate redundant systems. And the Defense Communication Agency was opened. So meanwhile, in ARPANET, the guys were having some fun. This is the Creeper. So Creeper and Reaper. So using 10x systems connected to the ARPANET, and my notes don't tell me, I think it was 71, I think. So Bob Thomas created Creeper. It's a system that it was meant to move from one system to another through the ARPANET. And Ray Tomlinson, anybody know Ray Tomlinson for anything else? Did anybody read email today? Yeah, that's right. He created Reaper, which found and removed Creeper, and the battle was on for the two of those. This is one of my favorite ones. A long time before I was doing much computer stuff, I read this book, The Cuckoo's Egg. And this is in '86. In '86, Marcus Hayes hijacked an ARPANET connection in Berkeley. And he was looking for stuff for the KGB. And he went all the way through 400 different systems. Cliff Stoll, who was an astronomer, actually started seeing things that patterns that he couldn't explain, and he started going through the sleuth, as a sleuth to go through and find those things. If you haven't read that book, it's a fascinating book. It really is. Yes.
Here. It's an awesome book, and if you Google Clifford Stoll Klein bottle, you get this video of Cliff talking about his Klein bottles that he stores under his house and he sells. And when you buy one, if you mention that he liked his book, boy, do you get a nice response.
Okay.
How much are the Klein bottles?
You can get one like this big for like $30. It's really nice.
Okay.
But you've read his later stuff like this, like the snake oil.
No.
He's kind of gone the whole computers are bad for kids in school.
Oh, well.
He's very hilarious on YouTube.
Well, part of that story is they were noticing that accounting amounts for time sharing was not adding up quite right.
Yeah.
So they were seeing like, well, the system doesn't say use that much time, but you're charging us more than that. Because each person got charged for usage of the system back then. So that's what first tipped them off as to what was going on, was the amounts they were being charged didn't match up with the system usage.
So is he getting into the system or through the user? He
was getting into the system.
Yeah. So I think there was even a episode of Nova.
Yes, there is.
That's just as great if you don't want to read the book.
I'm not sure if it's on YouTube. It's an older one.
Yeah, it was in the 90s, I think.
And then I still have a Unix World magazine talking about the Morris worm. So Robert Morris wanted to see how big the internet was, because it wasn't that big. It could be measured at that point. And he did this by sending a replicated program around to different systems and looked which TTYs were up, I think was the method. And it ground everything to a halt.
That must have been tough with so many architectures today.
No, it was made easy because there was a uniformity like it.
It was like R-Login and RSH.
It only affected certain computers, right?
Right.
VAX or something.
Well, it went through the ARPANET again. So, Robert Morris said, I didn't mean to do that, but he was arrested and convicted. He now is a tenured MIT professor.
He ain't going anywhere.
And his dad, or senior, worked for the NSA at the time.
So that's right.
That made things a little awkward, I'm sure.
Oh, I bet. What are you doing, kid? Okay, so the DoD fought back through the 80s and 90s. What I've got here is a picture of the Rainbow books. These are various standards and practice books that were published during the 80s and 90s. One of the ones that I glanced at was the Orange Book, which was the Unix standards and practices.
C2 by 92.
Yeah. So in 1991, the DCA, back from 57, turned into the Defense Insert. Okay, there are lots of acronyms. I saved you from the acronym warning slide, but I'll tell you verbally. So DISA, or DISA, or DISA, I call it DISA. Defense Information Systems Agency. And in '98, DISA created something called the Information Assurance Support Environment, which is ISA? IASA?
Ice.
No, don't call it ISA. It's like what's this show on FX that was ISIS and Archer. So a STIG is it's a production or it's a product of IASE. And a STIG is Security Technical Implementation Environment. So it's configuration for the DoD. It includes operating systems and it includes software. It also includes physical and logical architectures. And it's created originally by the vendors. The vendors support their submit their information to the DoD, and the DoD goes through and says, yeah, that's okay, that one's not okay. And there's some iteration that goes back through and forth. And the goal is lock it down. Everything in this environment needs to be, a STIG needs to be run by it, and you need to look at it. Everything needs to line up with that STIG. Okay, let's see if this works. So STIG and STIG viewer. Oh, and this one shut off.
You mean plug it in, keep it running?
I think it'll be okay. Please stand by.
So back in
It's
the day,
easier on this side, isn't it?
STIGs
Yeah.
were just like HTML, PDF. The STIG viewer, the only way to look at the STIG now.
Well, I don't know if I could answer that question correctly.
That's all right.
There's been other definitions of STIGs. I mean, that also comes out of the common criteria when they moved to that on the old Orange Book stuff. There's a whole, what is the same thing? That might be a mutation guide.
File, recent.
They reuse
STIG is secure technical implementation.
Yeah. But that goes back to TOE, goes back to common criteria, which came after the Orange Book solved that off.
What the heck?
Common criteria, and they just tried to go universal across the world. That goes back to Heimdall, which I can now say without crying, so I'm doing better.
That's good. Congratulations. How many years has it been? 25?
All right, so let's go. How do I unpresent here? Escape.
Like 30.
Yep.
Yay!
It was 2000. Oh, we were always planning.
You're gonna go in. Okay. I will apologize in early because this thing it's a little anemic. The one I wanted to use, I was using VirtualBox. I had some problems that I wasn't able to fix, so. All right. So we're gonna go back here. isa.disa.mil. Spend a lot of time here. There's a lot of stuff in here. Now, some of this content is behind DoD, and you can't see it. That's the stuff that says PKI, because you've got to have a DoD CAC before you can get in there. But there's a lot of stuff that actually can be viewed by the ordinary user. So let's go over here to STIGs. And go down to the master list, A to Z. Okay, there's lots of stuff there. I won't go through the whole thing, but you can see major software, major OSs, some hardware. Bind, it's personally what I'm working with right now. Anyway, so let's go down here to Red Hat. Oh, second page, should have known better. Oracle. Let's go up. Went right past it. Okay, so Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7.
You want the benchmark or the right one?
I want the STIG. So that's the one I have already downloaded because I didn't want to mess with it. Okay, so now when you go into that, I have too many logins. Okay, so here is the STIG. It's been downloaded and unzipped, and it's beautiful.
STIG's next to a file.
Yep.
Well, that's amusing. That's not how STIG's just one whole document.
There you go.
Oval, yes.
Yes.
Spider,
The open vulnerability assessment. Oh,
Yes.
so good.
So,
I'm glad that's still a thing.
I'm sorry. I should have told you there's a trigger warning. So, yeah, well, you're not going to read that.
Your discretion is advised.
So, instead,
Are there policies, there's suggestions?
well, let's get a better viewer.
It would be a suggestion,
No, no,
or like you better.
You better, or have a good reason not
So
to.
is STIG viewer something that applies these policies to the system?
No,
There's a guide.
it's a guide.
and it's a guide for how to comply with state guidelines, which would be required if you're using the computer.
Okay, so, well, I'd like something easier to use, so I'm going to pull up the tools. Which, once again, I've already downloaded it. So 2.8 is the current one. Excuse me, let me read my note here. Now, when you use this, you will need to have not open, you will have to have Oracle Java JRE.
Not open JDK?
Not open JDK. And that was a surprise.
So we're gonna
Because
get
you know,
we're gonna be paying licenses to read documents.
Well, you know, I went through this and I was like, it's got to be open JDK, right? So I installed that, and came back and started complaining. And so.
Are there a lot of STIG viewers, or is there in general just one?
Well, this is the official one. There is also an online one,
Okay.
but this has some things that it does. So let's
Update number 201. I mean, they put out 3 a month, right?
At least. They're not counting each bug.
Where you seeing 3.1?
Surgery
8.
Oh, okay.
Update 201.
Eventually my laptop will catch up. There you go. It's beautiful. Or not.
It's like a old school.
Okay, so what do I want to look? Well, I wanted to look at Red Hat. Okay, so down the middle you have the vulnerability IDs, and you have the rule names. And there are things like, what were some of my fun ones to look at? I hit 917, that was a good one. Must be, move this over.
There was a password following off.
Yep.
That's cool.
So there's that. You think about some of the things that I did with retail with passwords, and it was every 90 days. And people would actually throw fits about that. Okay, and 919, okay. Use PAM, make sure it's only going to get encrypted representations of the password. And then what was my other one down here? How are we doing on time? Pretty good.
It actually shows you. Add the following line.
Yep.
That's really cool.
And how to test it. You test it by doing this, and this is how you fix it. Okay, what was it? 72080.
The whole TV with 1, 2 systems.
No, we get rid of that one.
Okay. If the Linux operating system must be shut down for an audit processing, you have to notify designated staff that there is an audit processing failure. So on your way down, by the way, help! Essays, help me! So lots and lots of stuff. Now, you can open a checklist. That you've already created, a .ckl. I went the wrong way. Pardon me. Let's go back. Let's create a checklist.
This STIG viewer open source.
I'm not sure, but because this one's provided by the DoD.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks pretty compiled as a jar file.
Okay, so maybe Aaron can help me with this one because I didn't throw this notes. What are the categories?
Click the first one. I think it has to do with the one level you have to deal with. You have to either get it has to do with a level of documentation you have to put down behind it. You decide to file it, I think.
Okay. Let's see. What you got here is, all right, so here's your rule. Here's how to test it. Testing is finding detail. This is not acceptable.
Or just because business assumes the risk, carry on.
Yes. That happens too much.
And then put your comments in, and you can save that. And you can save you save all the work you've done with the CKL file. Now, the thing here is, of course, you've gone through however many vulnerabilities there are, and you've had this computer open, and then your testing computer open, and okay, is this one okay? Yes, good. Is this one okay? No, it's not. Okay, what do I have to do? And this is a manual process.
Sounds very manual.
It is very manual. So things have been kind of overtaken that method. Let's go back to my presentation. Oh,
yeah, I need that.
There we go. All right, present. Here we go.
Right hand side.
Right. Oh. There, present. The big button. Okay, so automating. Well, I can tell you that Ansible, Red Hat, Ansible, can automate STIG settings. Red Hat has a supported STIG role that you can run against a Red Hat 7 server to fix all this stuff. As I was poking around, Salt definitely has a way to do that, and so does Puppet. So my thing is you probably want to just start with that maybe before you go through. You know, if you instead of looking at all those rules, maybe look at, since Ansible is going to only change what needs to be changed and is going to ignore everything else, maybe you just bring up your server in whatever form and run Ansible on it, and then go test. So the test part. Now, once again, I didn't get this all the way to work. So I'll tell you everything I know, and I'll show you what didn't work, and then you guys can go home and play with it and figure it out. So OpenSCAP. Security content automation protocol. So this is a way of doing things, and it lets you manage vulnerability management, vulnerability measurement, and policy compliance. SCAP policies come from a lot of different places. They come from DISA, ISA, NIST, PCI, good old basic US government, and OS best practices. The OpenSCAP software, their motto is audit, fix, and be merry. I like that. So this is an open source product. I could not I gave myself 15 minutes to find the license, and I didn't. So I kept finding the website license for,
Just find the main.c file and see what's up on the top.
So, so it's free to install and free to use. It's packaged by almost all of the major Linux distros. If it's something that it's the Red Hat guys, the Debian guys, the guys in between. And the documentation, as I was looking through it, even though I didn't completely get all the way through it, all the way through the demo, the documentation was very good. It's one of those things, it's complex. You're going to need to spend a lot of time reading it. Probably more time than I gave on this one. So OpenSCAP is supposed to audit the system and report its current state. It will work on operating systems, virtual machines, Docker containers. And here is what we've got for a video, for a demo. 714. All right. Right.
Alt tab, it should jump over.
Let's do that.
Maybe. Oh, there's that.
Okay, so we're going to let this go away. Close without saving. That's for another day. Oh, okay. Let's try Alt tab again.
Well, on base, you guys have gold masters and stuff. You're actually applying this stuff. You're just, you just have, there's a team that does gold masters. And you guys are applying against those, right? I mean,
Some people may be using that methodology.
Ah, nice.
Because I don't, you know, I don't. Let's get back right here. There we go. Okay, so I just used the CentOS package on this. Which just install.
You might be open minus SCAP.
That's right. No, it's OpenSCAP scanner.
Okay.
So.
Sure.
Okay, so there's your package. That's the CentOS package. They had a list of 15 OSs that Linux OSs that had packages. So you can compile it if you need to, but and then the other thing is the security guide. So that was this shouldn't put up too much junk. Huh? Oh, grep. I want my grep. Oh, here. Scan. Here it is. Okay, this is a list of profiles and guides. So, all right. Okay, so when I put this stuff in, it put all the guides into user XML. No, user share.
Is it okay if I ask random questions while you're?
Yes, you certainly may.
So after you run it once, is it fairly quick to run it again?
Yes.
Like suppose I have, let's say, teammates that are very fond of the Chmod 777.
Never happened to me. I don't know.
You would find those, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but so is fine.
Well, yeah, you can use fine, but if you run OpenSCAP like every day, then maybe you can use like let it take care of it. It's not me, I'm not happy, it's just OpenSCAP.
I got stuff that runs every 10 minutes.
Okay, so down in the, so here we are, okay. User share XML, SCAP, SSG contents. All right, so we have a bunch of XML profiles. And once again, let's get, now we've got, the profiles are tailored to, in some ways, who's doing the testing. Because you can see, for instance, on Red Hat 7, you've got XCCDF, which is probably DoD. You've got OVAL, which is for, is it MITRE?
I think so.
Yeah, and there's a couple of those in there too. So
Probably OCI.
let's do DS.
More is less and less is
More XML.
Never have enough XML.
Yeah, you never.
Yeah, at least it's not OLUG based on.
Just do JSON today.
Have you seen that JSON tool, JQ, by the way?
I like that too.
Oh, it's awesome, isn't it?
All right.
They can make all kinds of little Perl scripts for project things. JSON is like ridiculous.
That's nice.
Okay.
I spoke to the guy who had every version of grep and make all two variations of it. So you type anything that had an N, a K, an E, and an A, and it would run make. They all made this all 20.
You collect the graph.
Yeah, yeah, same
So-
thing for grep.
When you look at these XMLs, they are a list of profiles. And for instance, when I started out, I wanted xccdf.xml. Okay, well, what do we got? Okay, these are the titles for each profile. There's one for STIG. Well, there's one for Red Hat Corporate. There's one for criminal justice, health, HIPAA, PCI, and so and so and so. And then this is what you're going to pick the one you want. Now, here's the fun part.
Did you fire up the regular GUI tool?
I did not try the GUI tool. I stopped here.
All right. I was going
to say, but my whole, I figured, I was looking at time and I was figuring, so definitely I might come back to talk about the GUI tool when I figure out more of how well the command line tool works. They have, we'll go back to there are 4 different tools that they have, and we'll go back to the website in a little bit. So what I wanted to do, oops. Okay, let's do this better. Because I don't like taping. All right, so I want to run OSCAP, and I want to use an XCCDF eval. My profile is the one that I found in that file that I just looked at. The arf.xml is a report file, and it also creates a report XML, or just an HTML file, just called report.html. And this is the place where I found the profile. So I ran this, and I got to the point where I didn't have errors, and I felt really good.
That's fine.
So, you know, it took just about, I don't know, there we go. So it did some stuff, but the things that you keep seeing here are not applicable, not applicable, not applicable, not applicable. So when I look at the report, I already have the price for the RAM for this machine. I'll tell you that. I thought I had a 4 gig and I got pulled the thing out. I was like, we have one. I guess that's why that was my Gordman's backup machine.
Oh, Gordon.
Yeah. Well, you know, some things fell off the dock. Okay. No.
Theoretically.
Theoretically. So here's my evaluation report.
Nice.
And it's got a bunch of here.
Reds and greens.
Well, here's the problem. We don't have reds and greens. We have, I don't need to do anything with this. And that's not correct.
Yeah.
So there were no failed or uncertain rules. It seems that no action is necessary.
Yeah, you got a radically different result than I did when I last time I ran.
Okay. So.
But I don't know. Are you running to your Dell or are you running on?
I'm running right here.
What rules were tested?
Why aren't they doing that?
Huh?
Why aren't they doing
it? Oh, I don't have that.
Oh, you didn't install it?
No.
Well, break one of the rules and run it again.
Let's go back. Well, see, the profile, what I thought I used was. Let's go back to that. Run it. I thought I was using the XCCDF content profile STIG Red Hat 7 DISA. So what I thought was a DISA ISA STIG file. That's what I was running against. I'm not sure that's true or not, but I ran out of time. So now, if nobody wants to, has any objections, let's go out to the website. Let's go find not open. Let's go back out to the portal. Okay, so let's look at the tools. So like I said, they've got four basic. So I've been working with tonight OpenSCAP base. There's also the workbench, which is the GUI. And we have a daemon that continual, you know, you were talking about, can you run this over and over again? Well, there you are. There's a daemon that will run that over and over and over again and tell you how you're doing as far as your compliance.
Which of these are all these free or just?
Yes. And then now Scaptimony is, I think this is hooked into Red Hat Satellite.
It says satellite.
Yeah, because it says Satellite 6 and OpenSCAP daemon. Ask my essays about Satellite 6.
So you can do
yep.
installs.
So those are the four tools. So let me go here real quick.
Download or?
Let's just try installation real quick. Build, installation. Ooh.
Yeah, yum install, man. You know it.
Okay.
Take this demo to the bad place.
Yum install. Oh, that's me. That's not going to work. Here, let's go talk to the root guy. Yum install. SCAP workbench.
Heaven forbid it's not OpenSCAP workbench.
Consistency, foolish consistency is a hobgoblin of the remarks. I
think it's just little monies. I think that's the whole point, just little monies.
Yeah.
All right, so what are we pulling in here? Ooh, QT.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of QT. Little Perl.
Nice. I like Perl too. Practically everything really likable.
This is the part where you start going, I'm a Perl 6 guy who goes into a plus life.
Oh.
Did they ever get Perl 6 off the ground?
I don't know.
It's kind of like this. It's kind of like the spruce goose.
Kind of like the herd.
A little bit.
Kind of like the herd.
Make objects too. Look.
I think it's up and running. They're calling it something other than Perl.
Larry.
The virtual machine behind it actually is kind of interesting because that actually has got a bunch of things running on. There's Scala and a bunch of other people running stuff on the virtual machine now.
You know.
This is the open source version of the common runtime, a lot of this stuff.
Thanks. I did meet Larry Wall
Nice.
15 years ago, and he looked tired then.
Yeah, I think what really makes it look Perl for me is you can just throw regex on anything. Doesn't look good, but it works good.
That should be Perl's motto, isn't it? You ever played Perl Golf? There's this website.
Yes.
These guys, yes, he's pointing towards it. They would have a problem with like, who can write a Perl thing to do X in the least amount of strokes, of keystrokes. So there'd be things like, somebody was like, how did echo, what was the shortest version of an echo program? It turned out there's like 2 characters that will echo whatever you put into it out of it again and stuff. So it's just this whole astonishing.
There's not a tool called Scapegoat.
Like OWASP as the goat.
Oh, look at that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to load 7, don't you?
Yeah, let's do 7.
It
No. Oh, I can do CentOS 7. Let's see what they find. Load content.
That's for the like piece of it. Okay. But if you can scan, but it's, it has a remediate button, which is really cool. It'll bring shit nice. And run machines over SSH.
So here's the checklist, which is the actual list of rules. Here's the profile, and it looks like it came from Enterprise Linux 7. And let's try dry run.
On the local or the remote?
Yeah.
Oh, just scan it. Come on.
Local.
I don't have a way to do a remote.
No. Go all the way and remediate. Come on, let's go.
Please don't scan my machine.
Yeah, there's your command. Write that down.
Nice.
Okay.
Do you have to run that manually?
No, that lets you run it manually later. That's a variation. What we will want is one that doesn't just do the ground. But remediation, that's where stuff breaks. It's cool.
Wait a minute. Okay. So
Yeah, I think it wants to
turn off the
It's like we
dry
gave you the command. Now go
Oh, yeah, okay.
It just tells you what it's going to do.
That's exciting.
hearing capabilities, processing.
So there's an output going on that shell behind you.
Yep.
Down.
Yeah, you may want to start to put the tap shoes on. This takes some good.
Ka-chunk. Well, okay. So when you did this, how long did it take?
I did it a long time ago, and I tend to forget things over time. So
Okay.
it took a couple months. But enough time for me to go. Category 3 is recommended stuff. Category 2 is stuff you have to have a remediation for. So category 1 is like vital.
Well, I think
STIG got it.
what you got to know right now is that it says 0%.
213 rules, yes.
So it's going to take a while.
It's uninstalling the RSH package.
It doesn't do remediation.
It's not doing remediation yet.
It's checking if your RHS package is installed.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Apparently it's doing it by looking at every byte on the system.
Well, it's only
Well, let's go in here and see what.
Gig of RAM.
Yeah.
Oops.
The RSH package contains
Oh, boy.
client commands.
Oh,
There we go. Pass, pass,
awesome.
fail. Oh,
Nice.
you've been a very naughty boy.
Lots of red.
So nice and colorful.
See, here I am doing this stuff with the command line, thinking I'm all Linuxy cool.
What did I do last night? I told you what to do. John did, what happened?
All right, so let's fail. Password minimum length, not expected.
Hey,
They're not
you can't tell
unexpected.
us that's weird.
Minimum digits, minimum lowercase, minimum uppercase. Enabled GNOME 3 login warning. Is that like a DoD warning?
It's more like customer text, like usage of this computer.
Oh, that
these,
stuff.
Blah blah blah.
If it's something like that on my Mac.
UMask is not set an Etsy profile. Okay, that's not good. What else is up here?
Ensure SE Linux is enforcing.
Set troubleshoot package. And SE Linux is
We
make sure it's
disabled that
in
right before your presentation.
right. And yeah, we shut that off. Root logins are not allowed.
Go to how-to for it, about half the articles will say disable SE Linux.
So one question that I've asked myself is, okay, so I do know this will, well, first of all, I know this thing will spit out a list of commands to do those things. But in an enterprise environment where they've picked a tool, they've picked Salt, they've picked Puppet, they've picked Ansible, you're probably not going to use that script. You're probably going to.
I think there's ways to get to it. It has temporary files and stuff. There's stuff underneath that you can actually get some of it out. So you can theoretically take some of those pieces and actually run them remotely. And you don't have to just go to remediate all. It can do some additional. I think there's some additional stuff on the workbench. I barely scraped into what it could do.
Okay.
The point was I did this. It worked fine. I did remediate. It worked fine. I rebooted. And then I reinstalled.
Okay.
It was perfectly secure. But that was because I was running. I think I was running Riser at the time.
That is the buzzword. That buzzword at work. It's very secure.
Hey, I checked the box. Where's the secure?
It won't work, but it's very secure. No one can possibly get into it.
No. You haven't lived until you have your first system shut down just because it can't write any more audits. You're trying to figure that out. So it won't boot because it can't write any more audits. It won't do it.
Okay. All right. So let me go back. Make sure I have anything else in here in my.
You can cancel if you want to. I mean, but it just gives you an idea. I think they'll probably get what there is to report.
I'm going to let it run.
Everything
It's just going to take a couple minutes to make sure all files are owned by a group and stuff.
But I'm going to go back here.
It may be affecting the performance of this system.
Look at top right now and we'll say, help me.
If you're going to put memory in there, you should probably put an SSD in it.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Ooh. Maybe canceling that is not a bad idea.
Of course.
No.
Oh, that'll kill the.
Yeah.
That might kill the session. See if I can get out of it. Oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
So we're not casting
Cancel
any.
that.
It's going to take yeah. Oh, just hit the cancel button. Stand for it, yes. Terminate. No. All right, we could have gotten some results.
Well,
All right, cool.
I'll put results up when I'm done.
Bumble, it's like Tinder.
What are you doing?
What?
Are you getting ads?
No, I don't. I've never heard of that program before. I just suddenly got a text.
Well, you're married, that's why.
What?
Yeah, I know. I got a ton of spam emails there. That's why I just shut down my email.
It's a dating program, isn't it?
Yeah, like women have to talk to you very.
It's a text.
It's tough.
It's a tag. Well,
On a number I don't
so if you
advertise.
click the link, you might get a phishing script.
No, because I don't use that phone number publicly.
You think they're just enumerating?
It's
It's a Verizon thing.
Yeah.
That's not a phone number I make public, so. I'm sure that's a robot going through numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had a bunch of robots calling me today. They always say don't hang up. It's a great big idea. You can't tell me what to do.
I let those things go to voicemail, and then the first thing you say is, press 1 if you want to do this, and then it's a voicemail. I can't press.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the hunt for a job, so I can't do anything good voicemail.
So
Up here.
I recently got the call screening on my Pixel phone. So you go, screen, you can. Tyler.
Well, then I need to get in. I need to go play with that.
Because it's like, I'll say, this is Google answering for this person. Why are you calling today?
Didn't Google Voice have that?
And it was just like, this is Anna from Baxter about your scheduled maintenance. I'm like, duh! And then I accidentally hung up. So, oops. I called him back. Is that your last slide?
Yeah, that is my last slide because I didn't have any snappy. After just to remember what these two files are: XCCDF, created by the government, and it's a data model of an XML presentation of the model, which I thought, okay. So it's going to create a data model, and then it's going to give an XML model that you're going to test against. And this is a set of security rules. Oval is, yes, it is maintained by MITRE. And these are vulnerabilities that people have found and that they want to test and make sure that people are not, that you are not configured to be vulnerable. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you for your help, Aaron. Thank you for your help, John. Appreciate it. And
Who's talking next month?
Who's talking next month?
Hey, if I'm here next week, next month, I'll give a talk.
You should give a talk on JSON, JQ, and
I'm good on that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you guys all know Ansible. You should give a good Ansible talk.
I do not know Ansible.
I did a very, very good. It was very beginning Ansible 3 years ago, and there's like only about 1 billion things that have happened since then.
Oh, yeah.
Tower, Red Hat, IBM, all those things. So yeah, that would be great.
All right. Well, as I said, I'm looking for a job right now, so there's no guarantee that I'll be here next month.
Okay.
But if I am, I can give a talk on Ansible, and also I'm good with Docker, so I can do a troubleshooting Docker.
Okay. So what I would say is that is going to be. My phone's over there. March 5th.
Yes.
So if you think you're able to do that, and you'll be here and give it a couple of weeks, to make sure you can get everything done. But let us know probably 2 weeks before.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna ask somebody to pinch hit too, if anybody's interested.
And how do I reach out?
Are you on the mailing list?
No, I found you guys on Twitter.
All right.
Wow, that's
So,
awesome.
yay.
I have a Twitter mob against me right now, so I've been laying low on Twitter, but I did find you guys on Twitter.
Okay, so you can go to
OLUG.org.
Here it goes. Here it goes.
Maybe that's not it.
It's so tired. We have a very low traffic mailing list.
Oh, it's like 200 people.
Yeah.
Well, that's most mailing lists in Omaha.
The left side where it says
541.
There you
I'll
go.
ask a search mailing
Good
list.
job. Good job.
So just go
I
there.
want to go start paying more right now.
You can't post it, it's not on the list.
Okay.
It's because of people like you.
I've
It's
never
the match painting rules.
started playing war yet.
And,
He hasn't heard that before.
okay, I think I will be here in March.
Was your email on the first presentation slide?
No,
Maybe,
No.
maybe not.
You're going to pick a password?
It's a list password. Don't use any. Just make up one just for that.
Because
it will email you that password.
when I used to have about 30 mailman lists, they all had the same password because it was something I could use and I didn't care. Because it was only for mailing lists. It was not for anywhere else.
You guys reuse passwords? Is that still a thing?
No. But I'm saying that it shows up in email every month, so it's not like it's. We've had an OLUG member who was upset that we were getting passwords in the email.
Had a lot of them. This guy didn't need to see my page password in the email. Had a lot.
Okay, also, share the wealth. If you've got people that you work with that you think would be interested in presenting or showing up, please let me know. Please let the mail list know.
You just want to open one browser real quick.
If your organization has like community engagement things that you need to do,
and just hit the spreadsheet. Yeah, it's over to your
Oh,
right.
that's a good idea. Yeah.
the schedule.
Up a little bit.
There it is.
Yeah. The snake would have bit you. That's the upcoming dates. Days, and you want to put me down for April? I'll do 4 for 8.
Okay.
Or whatever you need.
Potables.
You're going to want me to spell that, aren't you?
Politic's crap.
Disc.
I'm gonna have to look it up. Yeah, this.
Well, you might want to put Aaron in that column.
Or that. I've been called the worst.
You think the text processing would be a good talk?
I was thinking about doing you guys play with Enter yet? ENTR?
No.
You mean button on the keyboard?
No. It's like a notify for file systems. So actually alerts you every time the file gets updated stuff. There's
Is it
that.
like aid?
What?
Is it like aid?
No. It's just like if I'm waiting for this file to show up, something to be delivered in processing, it'll actually send a notification or event on it.
Oh, okay.
It's not a security type thing.
So you don't have to be one of those guys who keeps using T all the time.
Yeah.
I will point out that
Programs that are
Have
ready.
you tried Up yet?
Nope.
Up is a dynamic tool for actually creating pipes that lets you actually see bit by bit. It's phenomenal. It come to the top. You'll find out all about it.
That's awesome, man.
And Go TTY, which actually lets you share your terminal in a web browser.
Go TTY.
Yeah.
Geo.
Yeah, I'd rather just give somebody a burner login and say, here, just do T-minus attachments and see what I'm doing. I like that.
You can press it.
Yeah.
what?
This is awesome.
Enter.
Thank you.
Enter. Okay.
Do a text
One thing, housekeeping. We have. We didn't. Last year we did not have a July because it was July 4th. This year we looked at it. It's July 2nd. So yeah, we'll have a meeting on July. And August 6th, and you're not going to be at the Star Party. It'll be earlier than that.
Correct.
Oh, maybe it was like the last day.
No, Tuesday's not the last day.
No, it's the week before that.
Okay. So we'll probably have an August meeting unless John's exhausted from staying up all night trying to catch them. Phenomenal.
Catch them stars.
Catch them stars. Okay.
You don't sleep during the
So,
day?
so a little proposal for,
Try.
a get together sometime this month. I was thinking about getting some good SDR gear and found some pretty nice antennas around town. To just bring into them and sniff out what it sounds like.
Sure.
Software-defined radios.
Which SDR do you have? All I've got is a really cheap little.
Really shitty one.
Yeah, I guess got the whatever that was. The one was that people were using a couple of years ago. Well, they
I
did
picked one up on
DVD
Amazon.
receiver.
That's the way for it to come in, but I figured that'd be fun.
I wanted the line radio. I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna spend $1,000.
And also, I'm a senior level Linux engineer. If anybody's got any open positions, I've got a fairly nice resume. I'm currently working on an AWS Cloud Architect certification. So, I'm Teal, by the way. It's nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
What's your
I think it's Teal is awesome.
T-I-E-L?
No, Teal, like the color T-E-A-L-E.
Come on, little computer, you can
Is
do it.
anybody going to KernelCon?
Oh, Teal is home.
I put a talk in, I don't know if they're gonna pick it up.
Okay. I have done my early bird registration, so.
And Turnout's supposed to be pretty good this year.
Is that just nearby?
Yeah, it's in Omaha.
Yeah, April,
5th.
yeah, it's
Speaking of April, Infotech is coming up April 1st and 2nd
we need to
at the Embassy Suites. Yes, I know.
Alright, well, hopefully my interview's go good tomorrow.
And registration is open.
I would like to say, but as I said, I've got a Twitter.
Don't mention Matt Payne, that's the one thing that lies you, don't.
Don't
say you don't mention me.
Definitely.
Some places around town, you go to town pretty quick. They go, well, thanks anyway.
Yeah, you don't want to say it.
Teal, are you a college student?
No, I've never actually, I tried to do college, but it wasn't my thing. I'm more of reading man pages or TFM.
Because we had this college student thing right there.
Well, I attend Linux Academy.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know if that counts.
So yeah, April 1st and 2nd, Infotech. Awesome.
Go to Packet Pub real quick.
Go to what?
Packet Pub.
Packet Pub?
Yeah, you know Packet Pub is.
Nope.
It's a book publisher. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like getting ready for beer.
No,
That's a great name for a bar.
Oh, without scroll down.
Packet Publishing.
No, that's good. You're that's the one. Oh, we're actually right below, sorry. Free learning, free books. That one.
Too late.
Today they're giving away the Linux device driver.
That's hilarious.
They give away a free book every day.
I'll tell my wife.
Oh, nice. Yeah. They have a bunch of their stuff out there free. It'll take it a minute to figure it out. Just give us a couple secs. Yeah, Linux device driver's development. It's not bad book. You just have to register for an account with them. They have they scroll down, they got a bunch more other ones.
Yeah, so PDF file.
PDF, Mobi, EPUB for the whatever one is today. They got a bunch of ones.
Plus there. That was fun.
Machine learning one's pretty good too. So the Python one. Because Python is the way this lies. All hail Python 3.
Okay.
Python 2 must die. That's the difference. We were able to transition from Python 2 to Python 3. That's what killed Perl. That's what killed Perl. I couldn't get
Well, never died.
Yeah.
You might think it died, but it didn't die.
Man, you and the Fortran guys and Forth guys all sitting around going, no. Oh, Perl does some good stuff. I've written some Perl I'm not proud of.
Every time I go back to my Perl project, I'm like, wait, what was I doing?
Yeah.
I just remember my early days in Omni, and my boss was a Perl programmer, and I was just starting to get in, and he looked at my code for a while, and he said, Dave, you write Perl like a COBOL programmer.
Yeah.
Maybe question the nose. Thank you, John, for doing it. And thank you, Dave, for doing it.
Hey,
Yeah, you're welcome.
Does anybody want to go get ramen after this tonight?
Actually,
We're going to the bar. We're going to the bar.
Oh, okay.
Dollar
That sounds nice.
They're really good. Yeah, they're really good.
So,
And is that anybody doing that conference?
There's a bunch of people who want to do that.
Yes.
I don't.
Okay, I think they're meeting this week, but I'm doing, I submitted it, and hopefully they'll approve it, but it's, the
Just some
different
libraries.
I think Chad Holman usually does it, doesn't he?
Yeah, it does.
People, they finally got around to doing it now.
He's
Well,
let's stop the video.
Yeah.
Okay,
That
so
moment is
Okay.
awesome.
Oh,
thank you for watching.
You might
thank
be
you for watching.
And here tonight, except